Before the start of the game, each player must learn the Bible verses. Now, to start this game, each player is to recite the start verse, that is Colossians chapter 1, verse 27b. A correct recital scores 2 marks, an incorrect recital doesn't score mark. Next, the player picks his game piece and then tosses the game marble. So whatever number is on top, he would add it to the 1 that is here. So in this case, you have 1 plus 1, that means 2. So that means you land on the box that is labeled 2. So in counting, we start from here. So that's 1, 2. The player is supposed to recite John 3:16. If he gets the reciter right, he gets 2 marks. If he doesn't get it right, he doesn't get marks, but then he still has to move up the stick and then recite whatever verse is here for extra marks. So that brings us to the end of player 1's turn. Now player 2 also starts by reciting the start verse. A correct recital scores him marks, an incorrect recital doesn't score marks. So basically, this verse is supposed to be recited by all the players in their first turn, and each verse on the board is worth 2 marks. But when you get it wrong, you don't get marks for that. So next, the player tosses the game marble. So 5, we add it to the 1, that means 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The player is supposed to recite this verse, Exodus chapter 20, verse 15. If he gets it right, that is 2 extra marks added to his start verse marks. Now, that brings us to the end of player 2's turn. Now, player 3 also starts by reciting the start verse. If he gets it right, it's the same rules that applies to all the players. If he doesn't get it right, it's the same thing. He doesn't get marks for that. Now, he tosses the game piece 3. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. He's supposed to recite Matthew 28, verse 6a for marks. And then the 4th player starts, recites the verse, toss the die 3. So that means 3 plus 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. He also has to recite this verse for marks. So this is how one round looks like. That is after each player has had their turn. Next, the next round starts by player 2 starting to toss the game marble. So maybe he tosses 2. So 2. He moves 1, 2. 1, 2. He's supposed to recite the verse. If he's able to recite it, he gets mark for that. If he's not able to recite it, he doesn't get marks. There's a stick here that goes up. After that, he is supposed to go up the stick and then recite whatever verse is up there. Player 2 starts or continues also by tossing. So maybe 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He must recite this verse for marks. So that's how basically it works. So let's assume in the situation where maybe the next player, maybe player 3, tosses the die and maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4. He tosses 4. So because there's a hammer here, the hammer will bring him down. Now he's supposed to attempt to recite this verse. If he's able to get it right, he gets marks for that. And because as a bonus, he'd have to go 3 steps forward and recite whatever verse is here. But when the hammer brings him down and he's not able to recite this verse, he remains in that position. So in this game, we go in turns, and this is the last box in the game, which is labeled finish. But before the finish box, there's a box labeled 60 and above, which has Matthew chapter 20, verse 39 on it. Now, whoever gets to this box labeled 60 and above and has the highest mark is the one that will win. So whenever a player gets to this box, we stop the game and then we check the marks. Whoever has the highest mark wins the game, and the other players take their positions based on their marks.